Stop saying you're fine when you're not. How many times have you been to church on Sunday and someone asks how you are, and inside you're you're screaming, you're crying, you're down, your soul is downcast, you're struggling with day-to-day life, you have physical issues or situations out of your control, and they are getting you down, but you go to church and you say, I'm fine. You see, it's so easy to say, I'm fine, to those that ask you. And when you are at church, I mean, the amount of people I've spoken to, I've even done it myself, because we're worried what other people think. We're worried that people might think that our faith isn't strong enough, or we need to just step out in faith, or we find life difficult by saying that out loud. Does it feel like it seems that your relationship with God isn't good enough? For whatever reason you are worried about admitting how you're feeling, stop doing that. If someone is asking you, some of the times you can tell when someone doesn't actually want an answer, but when you're in church, a lot of people do. And this stigma around mental health in the church is real. People think that we've got to be okay because we're Christians. But the reality is, as Christians, we are going through all sorts of struggles, especially when spiritual warfare is going on. The enemy's greatest technique is in our minds. It's, as Joyce Meyer says, it's the battlefield of our mind, because the enemy brings on thoughts and feelings and emotions and temptations, and it can bring us down. Sometimes we might have sad days. Sometimes we might be grieving for longer periods. Sometimes it could be as deep and as depression, and perhaps even suicidal thoughts and tendencies. All of this is reality. And sadly, it is part of life. 1 in 4 people experience mental health in their lifetimes, and the church isn't exempt. So when someone asks you how you are, try opening up, and you'll find people will open up to you too. So we need to stand together. We need to bring awareness of mental health in the church and not ignore it, because it is just as important as when we're in the world. Our mental health is just as important as our physical health and well-being. We go to the doctor if we've broken our foot or have any physical difficulties, but how many people go to the doctor or seek prayer at church for our mental health issues? The statistics are a lot less, but it can start with you. It can start with us. We need to be a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident with speaking about how we're feeling. And we can start that in our families. We need to teach our kids that it's important to talk about how we're feeling and our emotions. I'm not saying we need to talk about every single emotions, and perhaps some things that aren't appropriate for our kids, but it's good for them to know that emotions are real. It's something that we don't have to be ashamed of, and it will help us improve our emotional intelligence, as well as encouraging, uplifting other people and ourselves, because we need community. The Bible talks about community being important, fellowship being important. We are all part of the body of Christ and we need one another. So please go, and next time someone asks you how you're feeling, be honest. That's my challenge for you today. You'll be surprised at what happens. You may get a hug if you want a hug. You may get comfort. You may get someone relating to you, perhaps giving you advice, or if you don't want that, maybe just someone to talk to. And you'll find when you do, you'll feel a lot lighter and freer. And that person most likely can and will pray for you. And prayers are powerful. Where two or more are gathered, God is there. So if there's something you've been praying for about your mental health, then please seek a leader from the church, a trusted friend. Find your local Bible-believing church if you haven't got one at the moment, and reach out. Or reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you, happy to pray with you, or whatever it is you need. Get in touch. God bless.